Hello, everyone. Welcome to my first live quantum clearing and activation on YouTube. I've done it if you've been part of my Facebook group, I've done it there. Um, but I'm showing up more on Facebook, or sorry, on YouTube. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I've already created a shield around everyone who will listen today and in the future. I've opened the quantum fields and the Akashic Records, and we're just going to dive in and see what energy is there to be cleared today. So I'm feeling energy around the solar plexus, which to me has this feeling of anxiety and uncertainty, which really makes sense with the inauguration yesterday, um, and this uncertainty of you know our path forward and what's happening, and um, you know where things may be in the future. Um, so that we're just going to pull out any of that negative energy and beliefs and programming from our sacral, our solar plexus area, our inner child, um, that place within us that feels unsafe, especially unsafe when there's uncertainty happening. And so, it's really important um, to work with whatever is coming up right now, um, because it's our thoughts and our beliefs that are going to create reality. So if we're in that negative energy, we're going to be creating um, negative things in our environment. If we're looking at things in a positive light, it'll be the same thing where like we're creating positive things. So if we're feeling any negativity, what's there, like what is the wounding um and the hurt around that, and work on really unpackaging it so that you can find like how can I be a beacon of hope, um for anyone or anything, um as we progress through life. And I kind of feel that whole uncertainty in the fields. Like there's this energy of almost like this shift happening, this teetering and tottering, um, back and forth between extremes. Um, and I think that's part of that's been part of the collective history um, for a while, like this constant chaos and upheavaling, going from this extreme to that extreme, from this war to that war, from you know this belief to this, all these different things, um, you know, and our economies go back and forth as things happen, um, and I feel like collectively we're at this point where we're done with that teeter tottering, and we're as a collective trying to find our center, trying to find our freedom and our individuation of life. Um, because it's in that neutral point that we decide what we do. We decide the path forward versus um, being at the whim of these external forces. Because the big thing is finding the peace within. Um, hey, hey, Karina. So it's finding that strength, because this is where our true freedom comes, by knowing who we are, knowing what we stand for, and knowing like our vision for the future. Which is hopefully a path of peace um, and really being able to thrive and grow and cultivate goodness, instead of the darkness that has really been prevalent on this planet for a really long time. And I'm feeling more energy coming out of our solar plexus. So there's a lot around the wounding, the inner child wounding. Hey, Michelle. Um, so this it's really this feeling of not knowing who, um, not like maybe not knowing who we ultimately are, which we're so much more than just this, human flesh. There's the multidimensional aspect of who we are. There's a heavenly aspect to who we are, plus this earthly aspect. But there's been so much wounding of who that is, this wounding of trying to limit who we are, to keep us um, localized to something that can be controlled and manipulated. And in that manipulation, there's all that gaslighting, which, we don't know what to believe. We don't know what we think. We don't know intuitively what's right for us. In this intuition it's in men and women. We think a lot of times it's like that women hold this deep intuition, uh, but men do. It's just really been suppressed underneath the role of the protector, and the role of the warrior, and the role of the provider. That they too have lost like who they are, and what's right for them. What is the right thing? What is that right path? So our inner child is like letting go of all this gunk, the miasma and the leash, and the things that have been taking us away from our true center. Um, so let it out. Let the inner child heal. Um, start to play more. Start to be creative. I was talking with somebody earlier. Like there's a creative exercise where it's like, what are all the things that you can think of that you can do with a brick, and really thinking outside the box, outside of like, the just the thing that a brick is. It's a step, it's a doorstop, it's a hold the paperweight, like all these different things. And like, to think about that, and really connect back into the inner child, and what does he or she need. um, how do they want to play? What are they aware of? um, what are they afraid of? And unpacking that, and finding what's truly underneath all of that, so the inner child can express. Our inner child is so wise, and it has this deep understanding of what's possible. And so allowing allowing yourself to really be in that energy. And if anybody has any questions or anything that you want me to look at specifically, please put that in the chat, and I will dive into the fields with that question. And I feel some heart opening and activation happening, almost like this. Um, that there's been like a cast, is what it feels like, or yeah, kind of around the whole chest center area. Um, and again, it's this protective thing. It's this, like, I've been broken, so I have to like put myself back together and allow myself to heal. But even after we've healed, we're still holding on to this belief, this story, this feeling that we're broken. And so we've kept this cast on, and so now it's in that process of starting to crack and break, and tearing off that plaster to open our hearts, which goes with the healing of the inner child. Like, the inner child is pure love and expression and opening, and being open to like all possibilities. Kids want to touch everything, and smell everything, and taste everything, and experience everything. And the only way as like adults we can do that is to truly take off this chain, this plaster around our hearts, and open, and receive, and be, and do. And for those who are truly allowing themselves, or like have been opening their heart space, like what I see is this, um, like deep mountain pass. Like, so there's mountains and trees, and all these things on all the sides, and this like narrow um, pathway, or ravine through this mountainous place. So to me, that signifies like initiation. We have to go through, whether it's the dark night of the soul to get through, whether it's the going through all the things um, that caused us to close up on ourselves. So like there may be a lot of things where like past memories, whether from this lifetime, other lifetimes, are coming up to really be cleared and healed. And sometimes like the healing is more the witness. So whether it's just you witnessing yourself, whether it's having a healer witness you, witness like the information that's in your fields and your records, um, and allowing yourself to be seen. So like going through that passageway, it's like it's going from where you were to what's on the other side. And what's on the other side is unknown. It's like all you can see is the path, and like the the light at the other tunnel, or at the end of the tunnel, of like the future possibility, and going towards that. um so it doesn't feel like it's going to be like the real dark night of the soul kind of thing. It's like it's really going to be walking through it, and and just it's really just about facing things. I think a lot of times, and I'm just as I'm guilty of this, of like, I don't want to face it. I don't want to, because facing certain things it makes us vulnerable. And so, like, sometimes we just want to, like, we want to go through, but the more that we're just like, I'm just going through, and we're not looking at everything that's there, like that's on the mountain walls, and the all of the, like, I feel like there's a lot of like living energy in this passageway. Without looking at it, we're just going to recreate more of what we've already experienced versus truly stepping into like what's new. I'm a huge proponent of, we've got to do that healing work. We've got to, get deep into, like, why am I experiencing this? What's underneath all that? What's the truth? So we can let it go, and transmute it and step into what's next, without being constantly triggered. It's about creating the space to choose something different. And so, to truly do that, we have to look at what's there. But once we start that, once we allow ourselves to be okay with, like, okay, I'm going to look at this wound, and I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to look at that, it becomes easier and easier, and things unravel faster, and we get to that other side faster. So don't be afraid to go through this initiation. And you'll definitely have a guide with you, like, in my mind's eye, I see um, a horse, and the horse is like, you've got the reins, but it's walking there beside you. um, and it's like the horse is big and it's strong, and it's like, it may not necessarily be like a true protector type um, guide, but it's strong enough and fast enough that, like, it can get you out of whatever thing. So, like, trusting the guide, trusting that you're not alone on that process. So I'm also seeing, kind of as, I feel like they're things that will show up as obstacles. So it's kind of the false idols. Um, what I would really equate this to is, like, historically, what would be considered the mighty ones, the ones who have pretended to be godlike, when in fact, whether they're just pure creations, like earlier creations of God, or whether they were extraterrestrials. It's that, they made themselves, and we maybe viewed them in our earlier stages as something powerful, so they must be godlike, and they ran with that. Um, but there are those beings that are still hold some level of power here, that don't want to lose their power. They don't want to be seen as just normal beings, normal energy. So um, again, look at like where are you giving your power away to something and making it bigger than it really is, making it something more than it is. Again, this could be like religious stuff. It could be um, like a job. It could be a person, like maybe somebody that we think we love. Could be like a parent, or um, you know, somebody in Hollywood or whatever, that we idolize and we've made, like we've put on that pedestal. And it's time to take back our power from those external things and bring it back to our core and our center. And it's almost like as we do that, I see it. I see this idol being thing, kind of moving back into the mountainside. So like it's going back to being what it always was, which just is a piece of Mother Earth. Um, and our focus coming back to our inner kingdom. Uh, the other thing that they're showing me, like being careful, um, like when you identify yourself as a, like I was this in a past life. Because again, I think over the next few years, there's going to be more of that awakening to the truth of who we are, who we were. So like we'll have more of those memories coming up. Um, but again, like the false idols, it's really important to not get attached to who we were in the past, and be like, oh, I was this. And like it's the self-importance, it's the attachment to um, that. And it's important to know who we were, because within that there are a few things for us to unpack. There's the unpacking of, what was the wounding of that I faced in that lifetime, whether it was like, how did I die? What were the challenges I faced in that lifetime? Um, and so seeing where those wounds are showing up in your current self, and understanding like, oh, this is why in this lifetime I do this thing that never really made sense to me, but now I can see why I do that, or why I have this fear, um, or why these things keep showing up. The other important thing is like, what were the gifts of you in that lifetime? you know did you have money? Did you have certain gifts, like were you telepathic? Were you a warrior? Were you um you know did you hold more that divine feminine essence? Did you were you connected to certain um like deities, or certain tribes, or certain um ancient civilizations, or um galactic starseed beings, like, were you connected to those things, and what were those gifts, and pulling those gifts into, again, who you are now. um, and remembering, it's like, I already know that, I know how to do that, I know it's there, and bringing it back. Or even like, okay, I'm struggling financially in this lifetime. One, was there a wounding, with the way that I handled things in that lifetime that is showing up in this time? Were there curses? What was there? So that I can learn whatever lessons and clear that energy from this lifetime. Oops. Um, or like that remembrance of, I have been wealthy. I've been prosperous. I've had these things. And so I can again bring that into this lifetime and be able to recreate it as me in some fashion. We may not have the same, access to certain things that they had back then, but I can pull the energy and um, like the energy and the beliefs and the understanding of what it meant to hold that kind of divine wealth. Excuse me. Um, and so, like, bringing things into this lifetime, and then how do you now use that? So, work with that energy. If you already do past life stuff, dive into that, and dive into, like, what can I pull into now? Or work with other healers that do that kind of stuff and can help you bring that energy into now. Because I think that's really where we are. Like, we're at this cusp of, like, awakening to our past, moving into a new future, calling our power back, connecting to the inner knowing, the inner God within us, to really become the powerful beings that we were always designed to become. And so that's really where we are as a collective. We're going through that narrow pathway, from where we've been to where we're going. So again, so much with, like, past lives, with bringing all of that into the here and now. And as part of the activation, we're going to connect everybody to their internal tree of life, and connecting their internal tree of life template with the God source tree of life. So where somebody's not fully activated in their tree of life template, we're activating that template now. There's a few people where they're clearing some reversals in your tree of life. So instead of the roots being grounded in the earth, they're reaching up to the heavens. So you're not truly anchored in it and connected into this life. So they're fixing that and connecting your roots into the heart and center of Mother Earth. And then stretching the branches into the heavenly realms and connecting with the Divine Father, the heavens. And so, again, as we're connecting in with our tree of life, we're pulling energy from the heavenly realms, from the Holy Father, and then we're pulling energy from the Holy Mother Earth, so that feminine energy, and combined within us that masculine feminine energy, the heavenly, earthly, the potential and the physical manifestation. All of these things are what work through us when we're connected with our tree of life energy. And then as all the tree of life templates are fully online and connected, we're connecting that energy into the eternal tree of life. So so the God source of the tree of life, that, so it's the law of correspondence, the inner and the outer, the higher realms, the lower realms, like so connecting us to that higher frequency of tree of life, the original organic template of the tree of life, and running that energy back and forth. And then connecting all of our roots and our branches. So again, this is where that energy of the individual and the collective, the oneness comes in. Because if you think, like, if you imagine that we're all this tree of life, we have the deep roots, the underground communication system that connects us all, plus these divine branches and leaves that reach out and connect us. So like this higher telepathic level of communication that is available to us, plus this underground, like we're truly connected through the Mother Earth, through this simple but complex communication system, this entanglement where, as I heal, everything else connected to me, and then connected to that and connected to that receives that healing. And so with that, we're going to seal up in God's seal and ground down. All work done, and so it is, and so it must be. And so I step out of the collective fields, returning everybody's energy to them and receiving my own energy back. And I thank everyone for being here. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. I hope to do at least monthly clearings. I also have the usually weekly meditations. And if there's anything else that people would like to see, please post that. I also host the podcast Wise Warrior Conversation. So if you want to be part of the conversation and share, what you do and everything, please reach out to me. I'm starting to book for the year, and just thank you, everyone. Like, really allow yourself to be in this this initiation period. It'll probably be most of 2025 that we're like going through this passageway. But I feel really strongly that, like, on the other side, after we're doing the deep work, that's where our freedom is really going to lie, and where we'll truly have our power back. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.